but he's definitely getting there.
Definitely.
I mean, he was just able to beat Dark on Monday.
Yeah, Xian is looking very impressive nowadays. Again, just has to keep up that consistency. You know, we see a lot of players like, you know, kind of hit their stride in one tournament and they kind of drop off after. So we'll see if he can kind of maintain that skill throughout the year and really, you know, make this the year of Xian.
What year is it? Oh, I meant in Zodiac terms, not you know what, not
What
in terms
year
of
is
like
it?
Gregorian. You're the bull or the ox.
The Ox, yeah.
As we kick off our best of 3 quarterfinals here on Oxside LE in the top right-hand corner map, spawning all the way to the top right-hand corner. We have the blue Terran player coming out from the land of South Korea. He is representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming. DPG. He is Kyo.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Oxide LE, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Team KZ Gaming, KZG. It is Solar.
And of course, a bit of a very different opponent than what Kyo's had to face so far tonight.
Yeah, I mean, not to say anything, you know, negative about Oreo and Arts, but I feel like really they were the appetizer to now the main course. You know, Kyor, he really has stepped up here, going up against one of the best Zergs in South Korea.
Yeah, he's like a plant.
What?
Casola. Yeah, Casola.
A solar plant?
Plants get their food from, because plants get their food from sunlight, and that's kind of like solar.
What is wrong with you?
So Solar definitely has a lot of builds under his belt here. We'll see what type of Solar shows up today, whether it's the aggressive sort of mid game Solar that we know and love, or more of the macro wait until I get lurkers kind of Solar that he's been showing off a lot in the past couple of months.
Yeah, is this the Solar that, you know, comes out every morning and kind of gives life to all living things that it touches?
Yeah.
Or is this the Solar like in the Sahara Desert, you know, that's like scorching, it just kills anything that it touches, right? Like, what is it? Is it the giving, or is it the one that taketh away?
Or is it the one that rotates around the? I'm trying to follow, but
the one that rotates around. What?
Yeah.
We rotate around the sun, Yaku. The sun doesn't rotate around us. What are you talking about?
Now we rotate around the sun.
What do you mean now?
No,
you're not supposed to before.
Well, no. Now we rotate around the sun.
Yeah.
But like before that was discovered, the sun rotated around us.
That's not how it works, Yaku.
Yeah. What's his name? Copernicus. He made the sun rotate around, or he made us rotate around the sun.
He made the sun. He made us rotate around the sun, mate. Just spun us around the other direction. That's what he did.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Change your gravity.
Holy shit. Ay.
Can you tell I failed physics in secondary school?
I don't think you took physics in secondary school, mate.
I technically did. I just never showed up for any of the classes.
Oh my god. Alright, here we go. So we are popping off here. Cure is opening up with a bit of a 1-1-1. Of course, third CC before Starport, as is tradition here, especially in the Korean scene. Very popular opening, going for those Banshees.
Yeah, we see Cure do a lot of these Hellion Starport kind of styles. Really a big fan of his Banshees, as he said. In fact, I believe it was last week where he just really... Banshees were essentially what won him the games that he won. He ended up not winning the entire series because he decided, you know what? For 3 games, I'm going to not make Banshees.
Yeah, exactly. Thankfully, this time he is going for those Banshees. So far, as I quickly check the visions, Solar, he did scout it. He did scout the opening, so he should be aware. I'm surprised he hasn't thrown down any spores yet. Right now, just relying on his queens for defense.
And it is sufficient for now when it's only Hellions coming out. But he's going to need a little bit more than that to deal with Cloaked Banshees over here. Protection is not quite there for Solar. He's getting a couple of spores.
Yeah.
But again, they're a very static form of detection right now.
And I mean, thankfully, this Banshee is just kind of being idle here in the middle of the map. Like, he didn't straight away go for any of these mineral lines. He was waiting for Cloak to finish up. So Solar, so far, he did get his spore on time. They are ready, or they should be ready.
Yeah, I really don't see Cure getting much drone damage here with his Banshees. The Hellions, though, can definitely change that story.
Yeah, they're looking for an opening. The Lings are waiting at the ramp in case those Hellions do commit to try and go into the natural base. Meanwhile, honestly, Cure doing a very good job at clearing up all this creep.
Yeah, I'm loving how conservative he's being right now. He knows that going too deep into creep is what's going to allow Solar to really just pin him into a corner with his Lings. So, as you said, just clears up the creep here and there. Make it a little bit easier for him to follow this up with his timing push that we know Cure to really like doing.
And what I love is that he just pulled these queens out to the outskirts of the creep. You know, they're busy dealing with the Hellions, and now it gives the opportunity for the Banshees to dive in, get a couple of worker kills here, deny all this mining on the gas.
Yeah, the spore is in range to provide detection, but not in range to start shooting. Oh man. Well, there were a couple more queens here. The Banshees would be taken out.
That they would
survive for now, and they do provide. They do continue to be something that Solar has to keep in the back of his mind.
Yeah, they dive back in. Oh my god, but one of the Banshees, it will go down. Overextending a little bit there. Meanwhile, the Hellions were also busy clearing creep, and so far, done a very good job keeping the majority of these Hellions alive. And what is interesting is that Solar so far is committing to just pure Ling Bane. Getting another base, just, you know, staying on this tech, not going for any Spire or Hydra Den quite yet.
Oh my. Yeah, we could be seeing a straight Ling Bane all the way up into Hive, like we see a lot from Dark. But Solar, again, he is somebody who I remember being a lot more of a lurker type of player, so we'll see. He definitely has the options here, whether he wants to go for the Ultra list eventually, or if he, you know, just grabs, say, Hydra Den to set up for his lurkers eventually.
Yeah, it's possible that he could just wait for Hive to throw down his lurker Den. It's quite possible indeed. Meanwhile, ooh. Would my shot didn't go off?
Pickoffs here. Yeah, the Wind of Mine shot didn't quite go off, but the majority of the bio does survive.
Oh.
This Banshee, is it gonna kill it? Is it gonna kill it? It's getting real low, Light. It's getting real low!
Oh, nice. Does force a cancel. Even escapes. Oh, spoke too soon. Does get taken out there in the end. Meanwhile, oh god. Just barely Cure manages to escape with all of his Marines.
Yeah, thankfully with his +1 armor, he was able to survive a single Banshee hit over there.
Yeah. That he did. Meanwhile, I love this. Cure is going straight into Marine Widowmine, which is going to do so well against this Ling Bane composition, heavy composition. And you were talking about it. Here it is. We have the Infestation Pit. Ooh, Scan misses the tech. Not just the Infestation Pit, but also the Hydra Den. He does want to go into Lurkers.
World is his oyster right now for Solar. Honestly, either Lurkers or Ultralists are going to do so well against Marine Medevac Mine like this. Cure really has to notice what he's going to be up against very soon and start teching accordingly.
Exactly. So far, so good. But again, like that scan missing the tech was massive. Really nicely done there by Solar, making sure his tech is spread out between his bases and he does avoid the eyes of Cure. And we'll see how long it takes for Cure to figure out what's going on, and we'll see how long it takes for Solar to tech up, because, mate, that Hive is on the way, the Lurker Den is on the way.
Man, if only Cure waited a couple of seconds before scanning.
Yeah.
Would have seen the Hive, would have seen the Lurker Den.
Feels bad, man. He has no idea. Right now, he is, testing the waters, contending against the Ling Bane for now, but now he's going for a couple of drops. If he does make it into the natural, he will see.
Yeah, Cure's signature multi-proc style here that he does a lot in TVZ. And I feel like it's definitely a bit more on Solar to be able to have the supply to try to split up his army and deal with them. So far he does. Completely prevents a drop in the south.
God, that's
going Cure's way for now.
Yeah, it does get cleaned up though in the end. Again, we didn't see any amazing Widowmine hits yet, as we even have all these links kind of keeping an eye on this drop here towards the bottom right-hand corner. And again, the reason why we keep talking about the scouting for Cure is because, again, from what he has seen so far, it totally could be like Link Bane into Ultra. Like we were alluding to that earlier. Like that could be what Solo is going for. He hasn't seen the Hydras quite yet, and that does matter, you know, depending on what kind of composition you switch it into, you know, whether it's Ghost, Liberators, or anything else. Oh.
Yeah, they're very clear counters and very direct counters to what the Zerg player is gonna go for. Now, if you go for the wrong one, it's not gonna work out in your favor, to say the least. Finally, a drop will land here for Cure, and it does draw the army of Solar back a little bit, buys him some time to get another base up, get his 5th base up and running. But not much else from there. He did see the Hydra list, I do believe, so he had a bit of an inkling what's come.
He also saw the Lurkers, to be fair, as the Lurkers did waddle in to help deal with the drop. And we see the response is to switch out of Widowmines and into tanks. And I do kind of like that. Tanks do, you know, offer a really nice backbone against Lurkers. But again, that's not all he needs. And there we go. There is the Ghost Academy.
There we go. Tanks definitely outrange Lurkers quite a bit, and so do Ghost Snipes, funnily enough, but he has to make sure that he doesn't leave those Ghosts in a compromising position at all. Oh no, and this is why tanks are not the only thing you want against Lurkers.
Exactly, like Ghosts, you were talking about Snipes, but also EMPs on things like Vipers. You know, Ghosts do so well here against the spellcasters of the Zerg.
Which Solar actually doesn't have too many of. He has that one Viper and not much else. Solar fighting very far off. A creep over here, losing a lot of his Link Bane buffer. Lurkers do get a couple of volleys off, but I'm not convinced it's going to be enough. Most of the tanks still live. And Solar wants to retreat from here. Very inefficient trade, but to be fair, Solar has remaxed. He's now once again on 200 supply, building up that bank. We have gotten to the point where the Zerg player wants to trade us inefficiently. Well, wants to trade as many times as possible. It doesn't really matter if it's inefficient or not.
Exactly. Cure is the one who's stuck on 4 bases. Solar has his entire half of the map, so he can trade as long as he pleases. To be fair, you know, there's a point where there are diminishing returns, but he hasn't reached that point yet.
Exactly. There's still so much money for Solar to throw around right now. Look at that mineral income light. Gas income, I suppose, could be a little bit better, but even still, it is about 10 times what Cure is mining. Yeah,
it's absolutely insane. Cure is able to defend 4 now. Ooh, he does miss the army though.
And this base is looking uber vulnerable line. Just let the Banelings get into the mineral line.
Oh, the Ghost!
Before decides to fight this. Ghost very, very vulnerable over here, but only one of them actually goes down. Wow, what a trade over here for Cure.
Again, solid defense. He barely lost any workers there, which is the important part. His economy was left untouched, and now Cure can push out into the creep, clear it all up. Oh my god, but here comes Bling Bane. There's not enough.
Yeah, not quite enough. They actually connect with tanks and marauders over there. Cure has a lot of momentum going his way right now, Light.
That he does.
He has no Banelings at the moment.
He needs to get on top of them. He needs to get on top of them. If he forces a cancel, then he can straight up win the game.
Yeah, C-Shop. Soul tried to go for a bit of a surround, but he doesn't have enough supply to do so. So many tanks over here, Light.
Oh,
the bio started to really get thinned out. The Ling Bane is going down.
And you know what's important? Those tanks, they tank so much of that Ling Bane. In the end, Cure once again trading efficiently, but due to losing all those tanks, he lost a lot of steam. He is forced back.
Yeah. Felt like maybe a couple more Marauders to try to tank those Baneling shots, or if the target firing was a little bit better. I mean, that was a very chaotic engagement.
It was.
Very hard to keep up with everything at once, but yeah, if those tanks just connected on the Banelings before they hit, would have been a very, very different story.
Yeah, and what was amazing is that Cure, he was able to break out from his siege position, and as he was attacking, he was expanding. You know, now he has a 5th base, and that is huge. At the same time, Solo's being a little bit cheeky, but Cure should have eyes on it. He does have the Sensor Tower immediately looking to drop on it.
But not over here. The Planetary Fortress will do a lot to try to keep this alive. A lot of Banelings to get taken out before they can really connect. Really nice bunker micro over here, but there's just enough for Solar to take out this base. That's A massive feels bad right now for Cure. He just got that base up light. He just
Exactly.
finished every down payment.
And Cure, he's not set up defensively here at all. He was looking to try and defend his 5th base, but unfortunately he was not. Now the Lurkers are barred on top of his army. It looks like the Lurkers, will be cleaned up, which is a pretty big loss for Solar, not gonna lie, but well worth it because Solar got a base.
Exactly. That was a pretty good concave from Cure once again, trading out a lot more efficiently than Solar, but again, Solar has been a Zerg player who has had 6 bases untouched throughout the entire course of this game.
Exactly. Cure just hasn't really been able to counterattack. There was like a drop here and there earlier, but it's been quite a while since that has happened, and he desperately needs another base. Oh god, it's going to take me even longer to expand to take this top left one because he has to kill the hatchery and then wait for the creep to recede.
And as the creep recedes, Solar can just get a queen out there and put down a tumor if you want it to be super, super cheeky. But he has had enough. This is going to be the first big, or potentially the last big engagement happening right now. Those tanks were not C-shot up. Did take a lot of damage. The Lurkers are still alive right now for Solar. Not a whole lot that Cure can do from this position.
Exactly.
Other than just survive from what bases he's got.
He barely had any bio to protect those tanks. GG gets cold and Solar takes game number 1.
Nicely done.
Yeah, GG. Honestly, Cure, after winning that big fight and when he just went across the map, like, there was definitely a moment there where if maybe a couple of things happened differently, he could have just straight up gone for the throat.
Exactly. If those banelings didn't connect,
yeah,
all I'm thinking of right now. If those tanks survived, he would have just flat out won then and there. Solar was completely backed into a corner. But those banelings connected with the tanks, taking out those tanks was essentially Solar buying himself enough breathing room to really start coming back in that game, and eventually take the victory. And I do have to remind everyone right now. Oh, okay.
Solar was tearing.
Yeah, I made a bit of a mistake there. Whoop. Kira just left the lobby in solidarity for Solar. It seems.
Looks like we may remake.
Oh.
That's
yeah.
Wait.
Okay, re.
There we go. Just joining Cure's lobby.
Yeah, I'm joining Cure's lobby as well, yeah.
Oh, it looks like maybe they have the wrong map.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Because the other map was Romanticide. Now they're going on to Jaganatha. Let's try to get a pig in here. And I will have to remind everyone, myself included, this is a best of 3 series. We're not in the semifinals quite yet. We are still in the quarterfinals. We have had, I want to say, the most signups for an ESL Open Cup Asia so far. NA tend to be very, very massive. A couple of times we went up to something like 110 signups for ESL Open Cup EU, and like 90 is, like, I think 50 is usually the baseline for ESL Open Cup NA. Sometimes it goes up to like 90 or even over 100.
Yeah, it's really great to see the signups improve after the announcements. Obviously, there's a lot more opportunity for players. We didn't necessarily see an increase in Korean signups, but we got to see a lot more of Southeast Asia, Oceania, and even NA.
China.
Yeah, China, Taiwan, Hong Kong.
A couple more Chinese players coming in here, a couple more American players coming in here. Jadong Oz, shout out.
Yeah, touch.
Touch. Ah, too soon.
He's got the touch.
He's got the touch from the Transformers animated.
He keeps saying that. I really don't think it's from something else.
Jaganatha. This is Jaganatha, KBBLE, coming in. We're in the top right-hand corner map, swinging all the way in the top right-hand corner. We have the blue Terran player coming down from the land of South Korea. He is representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, DPG. He is Cure.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Jaganatha ALE, we have the South Korean Zerg player going for a pool first opening, representing KZ Gaming, KZG. It is Solar.
And this is what I love about Solar. Like, he sleeps with one eye open. He knows that after taking game number 1, Cure is the type of player to try to go for a quick proxy, to just try to get us into the ace match as soon as possible. So Solar, being very, very safe, gets that pool first, makes sure that he scouts with his overlords.
Exactly. It's one of those things. You say he sleeps with one eye open. He sleeps with a nightlight, mate. He sees all, mate, even in the darkness. And yeah, I mean, with this opening, obviously you can be a little bit aggressive. You can maybe delay the base, but because it's just a pull first, like, it's also primarily just to be safe and secure as he does go around his bases with his overlords.
Yeah, double checking everything. Meanwhile, this SUV for Cure ain't gonna see nothing.
Yeah, he sees the Lings, so he knows it's a full first opening. Meanwhile, Solar is trying to sneak around the map, and this Reaper is attempting to find those Lings.
We'll keep the SUV alive. More importantly, we'll be able to go all the way for the additional scout. Well, I say additional, but Cure hasn't been able to go in with his SUV yet.
He has not, for all he knows. Maybe it's like a fast roach horn being thrown down for Solar, but he gets a good eye on the timing of the hatchery. Meanwhile, those Lings of Solar did sneak past the Reaper, and they will be able to delay the CC.
Yeah, nicely done. Not the biggest of deals at the end of the day, but still, try to keep a player like Cure, who is so timing focused, back like this, to this degree.
Definitely.
Can have a bit of a knock-on effect.
That it can. Also, shout out to the people in the chat. I did see that there were some people who were reacting to to the nonsense that was on stream earlier. God damn it.
Shout out to my boy Copper Nickus.
Shaking my head, yeah.
Copper Nickus who did that, right?
Who spun the world.
Yeah.
Mate, we need to have like a Yaku history session. That'd be amazing. I would tune into that.
Oh, Yaku history of science. Let's go.
History of We're gonna cover the first time Michael Jackson died. Oh god. Ay.
That's an old meme. Although, fun fact, Michael Jackson got brought up recently.
Of course he was.
Before.
Oh god. All right. Well, Solar did establish his third base. Meanwhile, Cure did finish up his CC. Everything is looking pretty good. Once again, going for those Banshees.
Yeah, not a 30cc before Starport built this time. Cure really looking to do some damage earlier on.
Oh.
And he actually is being very, very ballsy with his Hellions here. And it is starting to pay off for him. 6 Hellions, or 6 drones, 8 drones, I should say, get taken out just like so. This does cost Cure his entire map presence for now. But mate, 8 drones this early on will have a massive domino effect as the game continues. Cure is still continuing to make more and more Hellions, so it's not like he's completely giving up the map control here.
Definitely. Again, well worth it so far for Cure to dive into that mineral line and deal all that damage. Meanwhile, Solar, he dips in with a Ling, and he does get an eye on the third base timing, so, you know, he does get some of that valuable scouting information. We'll see if Cure is able to find some damage with these Banshees again, like last time. Oh.
Well, there's only a single spore for now, right?
Only one for now, but there are Banshees in position, but Cloak did just finish up. Here comes a Banshee. No detection.
And 1 drone goes down.
Oh,
2 drones go down.
Maybe
And
3.
a third. Yeah.
Oh, got that out.
Not from natural base, but 3. Oh. Not quite.
Oh, what's the timing on the cancel?
But maybe, yeah. That's going to cancel.
Nice.
Does not get the third drone. Overseer is now in position to provide detection for this Banshee.
Yeah, the Banshee will get cleaned up. The Banshee, as I quickly check the vision, did he see the Spire? He did not see the Spire.
That is super valuable right now for Solar. Cure splitting up his Banshees a little bit over here, getting more and more drone damage done. But compared to seeing the Spire, he basically just tickled Solar.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Cure just saw the lair. He should have seen that there were no Evo chambers, so he should be aware that there's some kind of tech. At the moment, he is in the dark. He doesn't really know what it could be. We all know that it's Spire, but Cure hasn't confirmed that. Oh.
Yeah, he's playing very safe regardless. Oh, gets 1 more drone over here. But he's definitely playing this out very, very
Yeah.
safe regardless. Getting the
Beautiful.
missile turrets up. Better to be safe than sorry.
Mhm.
But as you said, it hasn't been confirmed yet here for Cure.
Yeah, it's possible that because Cure is familiar with Solar, maybe he deduced it anyway. It's like, you know what, it's more likely than not that it is going to be muted, so did invest in those missile turrets and they're going to pay off for themselves. Even one here in the production as well. And he's going for, you know, Bio Widowmine. Like, mate, really nice transition so far.
Yeah, just about the same composition he went for in the previous game, but it's going to work out a lot better for him now that it's Muta Ling Bane instead of just pure Ling Bane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, like Solar, he's taking a risk because again, he's delaying his melee upgrades to go for a faster Spire, and I mean, these mutas have to pay for themselves, right? To delay your upgrades for this long.
And it's kind of tricky to do when you only have 7 of them out.
Yeah, I mean,
they're
these
missile turrets.
Yeah, these are enough to one-shot workers, but as you said, like, there are missile turrets. I don't believe there are Widowmines in position, none behind the gases, so we'll see how much damage these mutas can get done.
No, not as far as Solar goes. But also there are none.
Ooh, already loses one muta there. Oh.
Yeah, and losing one muta for only 2 SCVs. Not quite the most worthwhile trade, I should say. But manages to take out a decent amount of Marines over here. Those are Marines that aren't going to be in the front lines. Baneling's feet not quite finished yet. Cure has a little bit of time to borrow his Widow Mines.
Exactly, a couple of Widow Mine shots go off, but they go off on the Overlords. Ling Bane does come in. Decent connections so far. Was it enough?
But enough. Bio has survived over here for Cure.
Oh, exactly. The
Just
mutas...
enough. He needs to be able to get his reinforcements in.
Yeah, the mutas do come back home, and the Lings are rallying in. It looks like Solar may just barely have enough to clean this up. Oh my god, but he's going to lose a lot of mutas. Oh no.
He will barely holding here with the transfuse, but not going to be enough. He knew that Cure was already marching reinforcements across the map. GG, Cure takes a CAS match.
Exactly. GG. And this is the risk you take if you're Solar. Just going into mutas like that. Again, spending so much of your resources on something that's meant to harass your opponent and keep your opponent at home. And we've seen Cure do this even in his series versus Art, right? Where there's like some harassment, but it doesn't deter him at all. He still commits to the attack. He just goes across the map. So decisive.
Unfazed. I like that term. Completely unfazed.
Beautifully done, mate.
And now we're going to the map that we thought we were going to get in the last game.
Yeah. You know, it seems they messed up the order a little bit, but we are now going to that ace match. We're tied up 1-1. What's a bit of a shame is that exclamation mark for nada the admins due to the seeding. This is only a quarterfinals match, not a best of 5. One of these players will be eliminated from today's tournament.
Yeah, not empty-handed, thankfully, but
true.
It's still a shame that we don't get to see a full best of 5 series from these 2 players in it, like.
Exactly.
But we're going to continue on regardless here on Romanticide LE. We're in the top left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top left-hand corner. We have the blue Terran player coming out from the land of South Korea, representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, DPG. He is the solid, but the fluid, and also gaseous, question mark? He is Cure.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Romanticide LE, we have the South Korean Zerg player. He is red, representing KZ Gaming, KZG. It is Solar. And I was just checking the brackets, and we have confirmation of a couple of things. Number 1, winner of this series goes up against Zest.
Ooh.
In the upper semis. Number 2, in the lower semis, we will have a Protoss. Currently, Creator and Parting are duking it out, as well as either a Zerg or a Protoss. Dark and Maxed are currently duking it out as well.
Oh.
So,
and Maxed definitely known for his PvZ.
Yeah, he has caused upsets in the past. So honestly, even though Dark is an amazing player, it's possible that Maxed could take that win. And I mean, Cure has been here many times. Once again, just like many other weeks, Cure is the only Terran representative left.
Feels bad, man.
Every time.
We thought we got Neo to sign up. We thought maybe he could relieve Cure a little bit here now.
Spear, you know.
Spear was around, but Then he had to face Zest.
Yep. Right now, Cure is the last remaining Terran player. So if you want some more Terran matches in the near future, then give him all of your energy, all of your supports, because he's going to need it. Oh boy, especially to take down someone of the likes of Solar.
Especially on a map like Romanticide, which definitely plays into Solar style a lot better. Lately, he has been much preferring the late game when it comes to Zerg compositions. I think historically, Solar has been a little bit more of a mid-game type of player.
Yeah, like, especially if we look at game number 1, where Solar was able to just gain control of the map and, you know, just barely survive counterattacks and, like, just push on forward with Mastling Bane Lurker. I do think that he can incorporate that style again here on Romanticide. You know, after winning an engagement, it can be a little bit more difficult for a Terran player to really press that advantage and go for the kill.
But we'll see how good Cure's sort of micro is looking like today. Honestly, he hasn't really been able to show that off as much. I think when you look at Cure in a TVC, ooh, very nice pick off there. You expect to see his like crazy last-minute splits, his target firing of tanks onto Banelings here and there, but hasn't really been able to display that yet this series.
Yeah, specifically what you said we haven't been able to see. As you were talking about Micro, he did pick off a creep tumor, which I thought was very cute. Yeah. He's like, yo, I hear them talking smack about my Micro. And we saw a lot of it in his TVPs, right? Like against Arts. Like it was very impressive to see how he was able to execute his Widowmine jobs. But you're right, like we'll see if, you know, he's on point with his target firing against Solar.
Yeah, and I suppose part of it is that Cure has to go for Widowmines a lot more than tanks.
Yeah,
so
true.
It's a little bit harder to target fire with tanks when you don't have tanks.
Yeah, you know, that's another life lesson there. You know, you can't target fire with tanks without tanks.
I am so glad that that people listen to our life advice. Your advice.
What? Mine? Don't lump me in with you, mate. What the hell you're saying? What the hell?
Send in your questions and I will give you your advice.
Oh god, and I will give you answers. They won't necessarily be correct, but you know, you'll get them.
Stay tuned for the Yakuzaku Mystery Science.
Oh god. Jesus Christ. Meanwhile, I do like this a lot more from Solar. He's not taking any risks. Like last time, no fast layer into Spire. Instead, we do have double Evo chambers.
Yeah, we'll be staying on this hatch check a little bit longer. He knows how aggressive Cure can really be in this matchup, especially on a map like Romanticide, where he just doesn't want to bother about having to worry about things like, you know, going for multi-prongs, going for, I don't know, attacking at that fourth base location, stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh boy. So yeah, Solar really setting up for the later mid stage of the game to begin with. You know, and I do appreciate that a lot more. I do think that it does mean that the onus is on Cure a little bit more to try and harass and try and stop Solar from getting into the game he wants to get into.
Absolutely. For now, he's just keeping Solar back again, setting up for a timing push later on by clearing up as much creep as possible. But how well is this push gonna do? It's a very strong timing, I gotta say.
Oh yeah, like Stim is done. 1-1 is still on the way though, so we'll see if he waits for that or if he just goes with his Medivacs. If he does go with his Medivacs, Baneling Nest isn't even done yet. There's no Baneling Speed, obviously. Lair is still on the way. Like, it's possible that Cure can find some damage.
Oh, this is going straight for it.
Let's go.
Forward with his lifted Marines.
Yeah, gonna meet up with the Hellions. I quickly checked. Unfortunately, there is no armory, so this isn't going to be supported by Hellbats. But again, Hellions can do a very good job at clearing up those lings.
Yeah, especially if he's able to kite them well enough. Sim really gonna come into play here. Only a couple of Banelings now, so he got morphed in. Cure can definitely cancel this fourth base.
Yeah, he definitely can. The Banelings are about to finish up though. Here they come. Forces to cancel.
Nicely done. These are still very slow Banes. So Cure has a lot of presence here, this side of the map. Clearing up some Overlords as well, just keeping the supply of Solar back.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
much as he can.
So far, he's traded very well. He didn't overcommit to anything. He has to be careful because we do, of course, have more banelings coming in as well.
Now that drop alert light, was that meant to be an overseer?
Probably. Oh god. Probably as the Lings are coming in, trying to get a wraparound on the Marines.
And they almost get it, but of course Cure does have a hot pickup if he needs to. Actually shaving off the link count significantly over here.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. Scan in the main base, sees nothing other than the lair, but he is going for another drop here towards the south, this time with Widow Mines.
That overseer, that overlord does see it.
It does see it, but the overlord will get picked off. Oh.
Again, whatever damage Cure can really do, borrowing the mines before any big engagement. Beautiful hot pickup.
Oh my god, he saved the Widow Mines.
He did.
Mate, that's crazy. He's able to keep them alive to get more shots off. Meanwhile, we do see another drop here, reinforcing the previous drops towards the north.
Mass multi-prong. This is what I wanted to see from Cure.
Oh boy, this is what we love to see from Cure. There we go, more drops headed across the map. Meanwhile, ooh, it looks like Solo was able to catch the army to the north, but he just picks up, headed towards the natural. Oh, not even.
Appears to head towards the natural.
Yeah, instead, mate, he wants his fourth. It's even misaligned. It's not. Yeah. Aye.
He even sends an empty medevac to the natural just to really sell the story.
Same time, we have a small drop here towards the center, just clearing up some creep. Here we go. There, here comes that drop towards the south.
Burrow, puppy! Not able to burrow in time. A lot of bio will survive at the very least.
That
so
it does.
Something meanwhile, the drop towards the north is still around. It will force a cancel once again. So we're getting picked apart a little bit, but I gotta say, like, he hasn't really taken any big economic damage. Yeah, he was forced to cancel the 5th base here and there, but this is still a 4-base Zerg player up against a 3-base Terran player.
Exactly. Like, Solo's economy, his drone count has been left completely alone. So this is kind of fine for
friendly fire.
Solar. Yeah, a bit of friendly fire there. Meanwhile, the Hydras have shown themselves once again. As we were saying, Solar wants to do what he did in game number 1. He wants to get into those lurkers.
And I'm not sure if Cure's going to be able to handle the lurkers. Like, he's finally transitioning out of mines towards tanks, but like we said in game number 1, pure tanks is not going to be enough against lurkers. You want to eventually get into your ghosts or your liberators. Yeah,
exactly. To be fair, Cure, he already saw the Hydras, so he should know that lurkers are on the way. So I'm a little bit surprised that we don't see a Ghost Academy yet. Maybe he does want to go into liberators instead. Whichever one he prefers, he needs to go into it soon.
Or just win the game with this big push. Cure's army is looking terrifying right now. How many tanks has he got? Overall, 5 of them. 6 of them, 5 of them are in the army.
Yeah, that there are. Meanwhile, the entire army of Solar is kind of busy here towards the north, completely out of position to engage with this push. Now he sees.
But is it going to be too late? Again, Romanticide, it takes a lot of time going from that 5th base location to the 3rd base location. And Cure just getting such good damage over here. Finally dealing the economic damage he needs.
Yeah.
Not quite getting the drones yet. I believe Solar did evacuate them, but that hatchery will go down.
That it will. The hatchery goes down. These lurkers are exposed as well, so potentially Cure could try and pounce upon them, or just lift up and go into the main.
Like so. He'll be repositioning the tanks over here to support this bio. Hasn't borrowed the lurkers quite yet, which I think is the right call. Solar definitely doesn't want to give Cure the opportunity to gain ground over here.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, Solar did catch this drop here in the main base, so it will be forced to be lifted up here. Cure, he has to be careful not to overstay his welcome. Like, he dealt a lot of damage, which is great, but as time goes on, Solar is getting closer and closer to maxing out. Oh, he's going for a counterattack. Oh my god.
Massive counterattack here, and we did say
lift, lift.
Oh god. Generally a player who is unfazed when it comes to harassment. This isn't a harass.
Oh my god.
Dedicated push coming out.
Exactly.
Still unfazed though.
And finally, he does push on forward. I believe he was able to snipe 1, maybe 2 lurkers. Gets the infestation pit. At the same time, we do have a drop here towards the north. There's plenty of Ling Bane, though. It looks like Solar will be able to defend.
But Cure keeps most of his bio alive. Will be able to take out this Baneling Nest, and while we are getting to the stage of the game where Lurkers are the most valuable unit for Solar, you really want to diversify your AoE as much as possible.
Oh yeah, Banelings still have their place here, and with this, there are going to be no more Banelings for Solar. Meanwhile, bit of a yoink, does catch one of these tanks. Cure doing a lot of damage here, even drops into the natural.
And the Parabomb comes in light. These Medivacs are so low.
Oh god, finally he gets rid of the one contaminated by that Parabomb. Oh god, no! The army was waiting!
And it did take out those very full Medivacs.
Yeah, I think...
But Cure still has a foothold.
He does, but I think the time for this foothold has come and gone. I think he needs to go home. I think we're done here. I don't know. Like Solar, he's getting ready to maybe counterattack, maybe push in. This army feels a little bit isolated. I'm a little bit concerned. Solar, Cure though, he's getting ready for another push. Oh god, the tanks.
Forces. Both players are now maxed out. The tank's super exposed. One of them gonna get blinding clouded, but yeah, the time has definitely passed here for Kyo. He's not too far behind when it comes to the army count or the worker count for that matter, but he needs to be in position. That is where the strength of Terran comes from.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, would you have a drop here towards the north, distracting the army, another drop in the main base. Not gonna find too much damage here, but again, just keeping Solar at home, buying enough time for Cure to remax and get his ghost upgrades.
Gonna have some very good EMPs coming out over here. But I gotta say, Solar is not actually too dedicated to the Vipers. He has one at the moment.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Yeah, he has only one at the moment.
Yeah, I do think he needs more, but you know, as a result, like it does mean that those ghosts are not gonna have that much value because there aren't that many Vipers. Meanwhile, ooh, you're aware the tanks are a little bit too far back, so a couple of Marines do get chipped away out.
But Solar not really able to do much from there. Cure doing a good job of taking out that third base once again, but it's starting to get mined out. The amount of value Cure gets from taking this base out over and over again is definitely receding. To be fair, he's getting some decent damage done over, decent drone damage done over here to the north.
Yeah, solid drop here towards the north. Only Lurkers to defend, and it took a while for them to really clean up this bio. Meanwhile, this drop here, again, just distracting Solar, and these Lurkers are so exposed. I really hope Cure does pounce on them. Again, this is such an expensive risk here.
Ghost!
Oh god, the ghost! Oh no!
They will survive, but they will not get their snipes off.
Just barely. Meanwhile, more drones go down, and here comes the main army of Solar pushing in towards the newest bases of Cure. And where's the army?
Up in the Medivacs right now, Light, but as they drop down, Solar has to reevaluate. He does not want to tangle with a planetary fortress, 3 tanks, and a whole lot of bio.
Especially without Lurkers. Like, all of his Lurkers are here towards the north. Finally, he's morphing in a couple more, but that just goes to show how vulnerable Solar was for a time. But, you know, Solar was able to get away with that a little bit. Oh, the Viper!
Does get sniped. Who needs Ghost Light?
Oh, the Lurkers! Oh, Solar is falling apart! Oh god!
Absolutely is. They're super exposed right now.
That one Marine, he wants it.
Marine! He does kill it.
Ah, for his life.
That's a hero Marine.
It is a hero
I've never
Marine.
seen one.
Big Game himself took down that Lurker. Meanwhile, we have a massive siege up here from Cure. Solar, he lost so many Lurkers earlier. He lost the Vipers as well. That means no more blinding clouds. Meanwhile, massive run by.
And these tanks are definitely very exposed. The Ghosts do get a couple snipes off on the Lurkers. Cure will hold, loses 3 tanks, which is pretty huge, but considering they were defensive tanks,
yeah,
I still want to give Cure the advantage.
Definitely. Like, this push is still looking terrifying here for Cure. Solar, he's really struggling to deal with this. We do have more Vipers coming out, but even when they do pop out, they have to spend some time to gather that energy, suck on that juice. Oh god.
You say Vipers, Solar says Viper, singular.
True. Again, mate, these Zerg players sometimes
be only one.
they get really stubborn with the amount of Vipers they make. And then you have Jim Rising, who makes like 12 and uses one spell.
It's actually way too many.
Yeah.
He uses 1 Parabomb and then the rest of the Vipers get sniped.
This happens. I've seen it happen. It's on our YouTube channel. It's oh, but here come the Lurkers!
The Lurkers coming in from the side. The rest of the Lingbane coming in from the top, and it is going to be enough. Such a beautiful surround coming out from Solar.
Beautiful engagement there. Solar just eats up the army, barely taking any damage on any of his lurkers. And now Cure, he's on the back foot.
He had a really good foothold he had earlier on. He had to give it up. All the momentum he had going forward in this game has kind of given up. The Viper once again, like, what is it with Solar? You need to make more than one, buddy. Come on.
Oh god, he's remaking it. He's making another Viper. It's all alone. It's gonna get sniped later on. I just know it. It's gonna. Oh god. Meanwhile, Curie's expanding, taking a couple of other bases. Another drop here towards the north. Snipes one of the lurkers. There's only one lurker left.
Oh, doesn't quite go for it yet. But we'll be able to evacuate out of there. And that is a very weakened hatchery light.
That it is. It is at risk of going down later on. Meanwhile, Cure again, he doesn't have too much. No, they're both kind of getting out of position. Oh god.
Banelings not getting the most efficient trades here, but you can afford to trade it efficiently with Banelings.
The lurkers
when you're
there.
at this point, not with lurkers, so yeah.
God, there are just so many lurkers here. This planetary will fall. Cure was not sieged up. He was not set up whatsoever to defend. Oh god, but despite that, like, he's still got a pretty large army here towards the south. He was out of position, so he lost the base, but he can still take a fight.
But not when he's out of position.
Yeah, but he is repositioning, you know, drops again, being annoying. Again, this one lurker keeping this hatchery alive. We have a random ghost here kind of chipping away. Also, I didn't get to point it out earlier, but Cure does have a nuke.
Does he? When did he make that?
Is it there? Yes, well, units. He has one nuke. He has one nuke.
Well, we're gonna give Solar a little bit of PTSD here from way back in DreamHack Katowice. DreamHack? No, IEM Katowice.
There you go.
Cure has, or Solar I should say, has so much vision over here with these infested marines, changelings.
That he does. Meanwhile, one of these hatcheries will go down here towards the north, but again, I don't think Solar had any intention of keeping this base. Meanwhile, the main army, oh my god! Nuke does force him away.
But only forces him away. That's the only nuke right now for Cure.
Yeah, exactly.
Will leave this base very vulnerable, but as you said, I mean, Solar is expanding right now with the assumption that he's not going to be able to keep every hatchery up.
Yeah.
He's just making sure that his vulnerable or more valuable bases are going to survive, like this rich Vespine base.
Yeah, Solar's being spread apart a little bit here. Again, we do have a small force distracting. Solar pulls his entire Lingbane army towards the north. It exposes his lurkers, so he's forced to pick them up. And now he's going to lose another base.
Yeah, the snipes from Cure. Very much a threat here for Solar, and again, that is the most valuable base right now for Solar. He's starting to converge on top of Cure's economy. Very entrenched position he's got with every single one of his lurkers.
Yes.
And this is going to be hard for Cure to break.
Exactly. He has a lot of ghosts, but again, he doesn't have any tanks. He doesn't have any really sieged up position. Meanwhile, Solar is going straight for the throat. Cure, he's kind of locked out of his own bases.
And what is he able to get done here? He cannot produce any reinforcements to really deal with the Lingbane. He is having his hands full right now with the lurkers.
Yeah, exactly. And now the Banelings, he's going to get on top of the production. And if Solar breaks into the main, that could be it for Cure.
I think it's going to be. We will not have any more Terran players continuing on this tournament.
Yeah, exactly. The ghosts are coming in. He's trying to get snipes off, but he just can't get them. Oh my god. And meanwhile, Solar is breaking in. Thankfully, there are tanks up here in the main base. Solar, he's struggling to really get up the ramp.
Thankfully, quote-unquote. Because sure, that's preventing Solar from getting on top of the production, but it's also two tanks that aren't in the fight.
True. Meanwhile, it looks like Cure has been able to break that lurker position, dealt with the majority of them. We still have one lurker left, but again, Cure, because Cure isn't counterattacking, Solar has time to rebuild his army.
So much time. And it's getting very desperate right now for Cure.
Yeah.
Solar very much eclipsing the income here when it comes to minerals and when it comes to gas. It's do or die. He needs to get a lot done with the army he's got, and then try to press that advantage if he gets one.
He's taking too long though. That's the problem. Like, he's still stuck defending at home. These Lings are keeping Cure on his own side of the map, and now Solar, he's close to maxing out, and Cure is supply blocked.
Very hard supply cap. He's making as many supply depots as possible. He can have one round of remax on him, and that's pretty much going to be it.
Definitely, definitely. Meanwhile, Solar, he is ready to go once again. Cure is not. There are no tanks with this army either. It's just pure bio. And now Solar, he's just looking to just swallow up this entire army.
And Cure is leading him on a little bit of wild goose chase, but it does not matter whatsoever. Every loss here is going to hurt Cure a lot more than it hurt Solar.
Definitely. I mean, he picks up, I mean, I guess maybe he can drop on top of the Lurkers. The Lurkers are a little bit exposed, but oh my god, the drop that went towards the north was picked off. Cure, as we've seen, I think he's out of it, mate. Well fought, was an insane game, an insane series, but there's just too much Zerg.
Way too much. Cure's on his last legs. He's trying to lift up and find a better position, and he kind of has to. This is tournament life on the line. Doesn't want to go out this early with only a quarterfinal finish.
Yeah, exactly. So Cure, he's used to at least making it to the semis here, but again, due to stacked bracket, Solar had something to say about that, and he shows up with his Lurkers, with his Lingbane, with his Hydras, and his lone Viper. He takes the game.
And the series. GG. Well played. Such a shame that one of them had to go out this early, but man. I had to buy time for my phone to catch up with the GG button.
GG, well played. Congratulations, Solar, on taking that very hard-fought win there. Things were very back and forth. Cure, he had some moments of brilliance there, taking out bases whenever he could, but Solar was just so on top of those counterattacks, really catching Cure out of position multiple times, and in that moment when Cure was locked out of his own bases, when he was stuck on the low ground and just Lingbane and Hydras were flooding in to his main, like that was the nail in the coffin, mate.
I saw the hope escape his eyes there, like I can't actually see Cure right now, but I can imagine what that looked like.
Yeah.
The mental image.
Oh god, feels bad, man, feels bad. But you know, at least Zest has the opportunity to get some revenge for his fallen teammate, as Zest is also, you know, on Dragon Phoenix Gaming, and he will be going up against Solar here in the semifinals.